budget for data cleansing? If not, who's taking on that responsibility? And what are we doing about duplicates? Usually the initial importing of data can be quite challenging, so be prepared to work with your vendor or supplier to create a trial import for validation purposes before the actual live import. Step 8. What about integration? Integrating CRM with other back-office systems is quite common nowadays and can offer a huge return on investment by providing a one-stop shop for the entire customer view. So imagine the scenario: your customer phones up and he asks about his delivery. So you have to transfer him to the shipping department. Then he wants to talk about his invoice, so they have to transfer him to the accounts team, etc., etc. Whereas if you had some kind of integration set up with the order management system, with the accounting system, you'd have been able to look at his record and answer his questions with one phone call. Creating integrations can also provide useful insights to salespeople. So a salesperson looks at a company record and they can see what a person's been buying. They can then deduce what they're likely to buy, increasing their chances of sales success and thereby increasing company profits. And frankly, anything you can do to create value for salespeople is going to work in your favour, making them more inclined to want to use the system. So as well as providing views of data from other systems, the integrations can also be used to push data from CRM elsewhere around the company. For example, the creation of a customer record in the accounting package when a CRM sales opportunity record is won. Or the syncing of your tasks and your appointments from Outlook to CRM, and vice versa. Or you might also be considering integrating with a third-party email marketing solution provider, such as Dotmailer, for example. So make a list of possible integrations, make a list of what are the benefits on each one, then you can decide if it's worth it. Step 9. Organizational structure, users and security. So, do you have regional divisions within your company, or is it made up of various business units that work fairly independently of each other? If it is, then do you want some or all of the data to be shared amongst these business units? How is it currently set up? Do you have teams maybe that work across the business units? If you work in a smaller organisations, then some of these questions might not be so relevant. But this next part is, think about the various different user groups and what levels of access you want them to have in your CRM system. For example, are you happy for your entire workforce to use the export to Excel function? Or do you want to limit this only to certain users or user groups? Or do you want all the salespeople to have access to all the customer records? Or do they maybe just have access only to those records that are assigned to them? So when you're running this session, think about everything to do with security, users and user groups. Step 10. Assess the risks. Fact: every project has risks. It's often said that CRM projects are made up of three components: people, process and technology. And in order to have a successful CRM project, all three components need to be a success. The largest cog in this wheel is the people component. Now, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that a CRM project is just a technical project, when in fact the technical component is very often the smallest of the three cogs. So for this step, assess the risks, you need to think about or brainstorm all and every single possible risk to your project. All the people risks, the technology risks and the process risks. List them, and then for each risk examine it and work out how likely is it to happen. You might decide you're going to use a scoring system where 1 is the least likely to happen and 5 is very likely. And then to develop this further, you might even add a second scoring system to assess the impact